Recording in progress.
We are live.
All right. We'll call order. First thing is, and it's been a while, but the July 17th minutes. Approved, move to approve,
Sorry. Yeah.
all in favor? Brian.
Yes.
Okay.
You had a question last week before last about having trucks
Yeah,
on site. So I contacted DEP. We can have garbage truck on site as a recycling center,
okay,
and Chapter 402 also has a provision in there that allows us to hold trash on station for 2 days if we can't get to dispose of it because of whatever reason, truck breaks or whatever. So we can hold it on site without a transfer station license for 2 days.
that is gonna be good. We'll make sure we put it in.
Also, the biggie is I had a long chat with Mr. Plummer. He will not be retiring. And he looks forward to many more years
Many more.
servicing Doug Camp. Wow.
Fantastic. Well,
Yep.
then the rest of our conversation is gonna be a little, just as an exercise. But we'll get to that.
Should we send him flowers?
Was this Plummer Senior?
Yes, Richard Plummer.
Really?
Yeah.
In his per bag contract, when is that a town meeting?
25. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll come, so that'll be up. Same as he's at 225 now. I anticipate he's probably gonna go up some, which will impact trash tag prices, but.
Yep.
So the rest of tonight's exercise, well, we'll talk about it in a second, is gonna be really good. Really good. Anything
That's all.
else? Transfer station, I heard what Nicole said last night, but,
No, I tried to watch it. I couldn't get in. I couldn't get logged in, so I don't know what took place last night.
all right, why don't you give us, I mean, that's kind of what's the scoop of the transfer station?
I'm putting together an operations manual that I probably have another 2 or 3 weeks on. Once I get this manual put together, then we submit it to DEP. What it is to save us money. Because if we just turn in an application with a check and then they don't approve it, we don't get our money back.
Yeah,
So this is, I'm gonna turn in all the paperwork. We're gonna sit down with them. They're gonna go through it with us.
perfect.
And we'll know before we put in an application if we're gonna be approved.
Are we still thinking, is the thinking still that we're gonna need another entrance,
We have to have another entrance. We
Yes.
have to have a separate entrance.
but anything other than that? I mean, did we talk about a cement pad? We just think that it's a separate entrance that will have a gate.
Yeah.
And that's what the belief still is, that that's all we're gonna need to
Right.
do. And then that can handle, Public Works can do the work on it, and although we have to buy material and stuff, it still is
Right.
probably very reasonable cost.
Does it have to be fenced in?
It has to be lockable. We have to have a site that is locked. We have natural barriers anyway, so nobody's gonna just drive in.
Right.
So really all we need is the entrance and a gate that can be locked.
Kind of a big takeaway from last night's select board meeting is, once it's approved, it is a transfer station. It doesn't have to go back to the select board to
Yes,
approve if they're gonna approve a transfer station.
that's correct. That's what we're hearing.
Well, assuming the additional provisions to adhere to the license are put in, i.e. the gate and.
Yeah,
Right.
just the gate and the entrance.
That's all.
maintenance of it is, I mean, you plow, same way you plow the rest of that site.
Right.
I mean, it's-
And that's all, that's actually all in the operations manual that's put together right now.
When you get that done, can we have a copy? Just, I'm just curious, that's all. Obviously, we won't have anything to say on it because we would ask you anyway. It would be cool. Update from last night, I watched, it was frustrating at times, but the bottom line is I got where it is. I sent I got the updated version from Nicole. I sent that to you guys. I'm assuming that the latest rules that we sent out didn't have any changes because she only updated the ordinance. Brian, can we make sure that the updated ordinance that Nicole had that I sent out and the latest rules are up on the website so that people can see them? Because
Right.
one of the things we talked about in the newsletter article is that they would find the latest versions of it, so.
Oh, yeah, I put all the documents up. I haven't, before I put this one up though, I have a question. Said the select board went through this last night.
They went through it, they approved it, it is what it is.
Either I printed out an older one or something's been missed. But the very last line in this says this ordinance shall take effect upon adoption by annual town meeting on November 5th, 2024.
It's not town meeting, that's what they put in, we no longer have the ability to make changes to that. I think it's gonna be effective when it's effective, I think if it says town meeting versus other, I'm not sure that's a big deal, but
Right, but
that's, you gotta talk to Nicole on that.
okay, so the last I heard, they were gonna wait until the town meeting.
No, I'm sorry, yes, the outcome of that is it will be on the November 5th ballot, period.
Interesting. Okay.
So it will be on that ballot, so. And unfortunately, that language is unfortunate, it's not adopted at a town meeting, but. I don't know, maybe voting is technically at a town meeting, maybe that's the way that, whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, November 5th, so if you can. Like I said, make sure that and the latest rules, which I think is a date of 8/13. And then probably the latest list of materials, which is. I mean, it's been a while since we've done anything with that, make sure those three are out there. So that when the article comes off, people can go and they'll see it. Anything else on, especially moving from there?
This latest version 13. August.
No,
13.
no, the latest
Yeah.
version is dated. If you look at the email that I sent out, the name of the document says 8/27. But again, that came from Nicole and we no longer have any ability to suggest whatever changes. I think this what it is.
They couldn't even wait for our meeting tonight
Yeah,
to talk about it.
no, they,
Did they sign it? Do you know if they signed it?
Supposed to sign
they
it
were supposed
before the end of the meeting.
Okay.
So that's that. And you have to say, our job is done. That was huge. Well, no, not quite. Not quite, although with the plumber news, pretty much we're almost there. I mean, that was huge. Models for alternative trash, this has become kind of an exercise at this point. But since we have figures on some of the stuff, what I'm gonna suggest is that we put something together for the select board. And then end it with, Homer has decided to not retire for the immediate future. So that they've got everything, because we've done the work, we may as well show it there. Say, this is, whatever. So were you guys able to do numbers for the? If we were to have a transfer station and people were to drop their trash there?
You know what we were?
Okay, do we have it?
I do have it, it needs some updated numbers, so. The
What's the bottom line, trying to look?
bottom line is $2.75 a bag. Cost.
Quick question to Brian. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
But that is all based off of an estimated number of bags you can put in a dumpster, and there's no compactor. And Pat and I were talking about it. We feel as though the numbers that are listed on the waste management website may be a little conservative.
Mhm.
So it'd be interesting to hear from Plummer, maybe, how many bags he's able to fit.
I would think you would need 2 containers,
Per week.
So
because they run 2.5 trucks a week.
to
Sometimes they have to go empty their truck mid-street, pickup on Thursdays.
so this is the numbers I have, and
But their trucks are not 40-yard trucks
Well,
either.
that was.
so that
Yeah.
almost half the costs are in
No, the trucks,
actually.
no, it's an open truck, there's no.
So about 2/3 of the costs are actually in transportation.
Yeah.
So getting that number
Big.
right is the kind of the important part. And based on, I was just looking up on, people who lease dumpsters, how big it can be. Are the estimated number of bags you can put per dumpster. So based off the waste management website, for a 33-gallon bag, you can fit 180 of those in a 30-yard dumpster. And you can fit 380 13-gallon kitchen bags in a 30-yard dumpster. So based off of those numbers, and if those numbers are a little inflated, we bumped them up to say 200 and making stuff up here, 500, it drops the transportation cost significantly.
Sure.
Well, and then if we can figure out what a compactor would cost, that would drop it even more. It would be a capital investment.
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
The reason I say yes and no is based off of our 31,000 bags per year,
Mhm.
and assuming an annual or equal amortization, which probably isn't accurate, it's Christmas time, would always be an example. You go through 600 bags of teeth, roughly, I'm rounding,
Okay.
closest. Which means you would, based off the numbers above, you would need 3 30-yard roll-offs a week to make that work. 3 30s. And at $400 a trip, that works out to roughly $55,000 a year just in trucking.
What are the metal dumpster? Is that a 40-yard?
That's 40-yard.
See, well, I don't know why we wouldn't just. do
Right,
those.
yeah.
And I would think that, worth the trash, I would think, in that.
His trucks are probably 20 yards.
You think that big?
His sideboards are 8 feet. It's probably a 16-foot bed. It's 8 feet wide. So
Hold on there.
what you got there for numbers?
8 times 16 divided by 27. I think those numbers are a little off because that works out to 38 yards.
Yeah, he doesn't have a 38-yard.
Yeah.
On that.
I think close.
Is that something?
So uniform either, it
I do intend on sharing it. It's the editable Excel files. I just was hoping to get some updated numbers that, more accurate than send it out, but I'll send it out either way, but it would be nice if we.
But a quick update, what would the seller charge us to pick up? If they transport stuff or like recyclables, that truck, just the transport fee.
That's 400, 200. I think it just went up to 418 or something like that, 421.
So,
Okay. Edit that a little bit.
Okay, so if we get those figures and we can kind of put it together somewhat along the lines of what I sent out, just, and here are some of the considerations kind of stuff.
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, the bottom line is $90,000 a year. That's the bottom line.
And right now, we're paying Plummer, and this is based on 30,000 bags, 67.5.
Yeah.
So it's more expensive.
Well, that's with disposal cost too.
Oh, that's with disposal. Okay, okay. 'Cause my numbers didn't have it. Okay, got it.
But the tipping fee doesn't change.
Yeah,
What Casella charges us to take the trash, that doesn't change.
yeah, Casella doesn't take it anymore.
Or whoever.
Main waste management.
So I'll update this based on the 40-yard dumpster. That's actually gonna drop it quite a bit because that puts us from 2.5, I rounded up to 3 roll-offs a week down to 2, and that's gonna be a significant impact.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 would be.
240 yards would be more than enough.
That's a lot of trade.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna wanna hold on to that, you know, it's not like you're probably gonna carry that for week after week, cause you then start saying, no, we're good.
But in order
Oh,
to,
yeah, yeah.
in order to collect trash in a dumpster, we must be a transfer station.
Yeah,
Yes.
oh, absolutely.
Yep.
That's,
So. I'll update this and get it, but if you do have, if you are able to figure out roughly how many bags,
Oh, I have the numbers, I just didn't have them with me.
oh no, how many bags can fit in Paul's truck and then in your truck? So we can kind of gauge the accuracy of.
Oh, I can tell you that.
Yeah, you probably know.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure he knows, but I can figure that out with the numbers that I have.
Okay.
Because I get their, I get the bills. What's nice about working with MWAC is they send me the bill at the end of the day. I don't have to wait until the end of the month
it's nice.
to sell, like Casella. MWAC sends me the bill by 5 p.m. every Thursday. So it's good. Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
reason I said yes and no is because unless we had multiple compactors. Well, maybe now with one and only 2 dumpsters, we could potentially get that down to 1, maybe.
Yeah.
Easy.
Compact and dumpster.
So we're talking 90,000 as opposed to. Yeah, right now we're at about 100,000. For everything, so it's not that much of a savings. I would have just, although with the new numbers, it may be, I would have expected
It's gonna,
savings.
I mean, down to 2 dumpsters. Transportation was 56,000, so that was, again, almost, it was 2/3 of it, so.
Yeah,
You drop 1/3 of that, so that is, call it 19,000, it's gonna win almost $20,000 off of that, so it's gonna be about
so
7.
for figures, just, I used what we put together then for self-sustaining. Should be close, I mean, it's all, it's all close enough for government work.
Yeah, I'm pretty close, so I use, instead of using 23 a ton, I used 125 a ton for disposal. 30,000,
disposal?
yeah, not for disposal, I'm sorry, for tipping fees,
Yeah.
yes.
We pay 91 a ton.
And-
Yeah, because that was the 123, I think was Casella. The last bid, yeah,
Correct, now we're paying
And-
91 a ton.
and we're doing the main waste management.
So then,
Do we lease those dumpsters or is that all wrapped up in the transportation tipping?
Which ones? We own the red one.
Right.
Casella, or
If we were doing
Well,
action
build it.
transfer station,
Got it.
at 40.
Okay.
we can just outright buy them.
Like I said,
That's cheap enough that
yeah, I just sent it to me whenever I can,
you can get one.
I can figure, but like if they just, for the ones I did, I figured I did the figures, so if you wanted to.
We don't see that.
As long as we're clear.
And in theory, this just affects the cost of the tag and doesn't really affect the cost for the town. So there's
The town doesn't pay for trash, citizens pay for trash, which is something, a concept that appears to be missing occasionally. The town does pay for recycling, different totally, but the town does not pay for trash, not their general taxes. All right, so Paul looked over my shoulder and.
Well, Yeah, and like get in touch with you. I had a question about your 50 gallons of diesel a week.
Yeah, that was a figure that Brian gave to me, and some of the reason, even though we only have I think you asked the mileage, 40 miles of public road for pickup. First off, idling and doing that, and the gas mileage is not that great, but then also, are you then taking and driving to the
Right.
place?
So here, well, let's call it 50 miles of road. Plus, if you go 25 miles to the landfill or whatever, that would be, say, a 50-mile round trip, so you've got 100 miles. And
So you're thinking 50 gallons of diesel is probably on the high side.
I think for 100 miles.
I don't know, Brian, I just
Now, if
read
you have
it.
two trucks and you're making two runs, that adds another.
And that's what I based those numbers on, was 2 garbage trucks.
Two trucks making, so
So it's not
50
50,
gallons.
it's not,
it's 150 miles. Maybe. Per week. Yeah, 50 miles of road and 100 miles back home, we've got, 150 miles. Shouldn't take 50 miles.
It's only like, seems odd, I think it's only like 19 miles.
No, being generous.
yeah, this is all close enough for government
West
work.
Mass,
This is
all
government work. So it's obviously close enough for government work.
Augusta, wherever.
Yeah, and this was 50 gallon, the calculation there was 100 gallons, because it was 50 per truck, and that may have been my mistake, so. mm. Does that make sense to you, Brian, that it would be 25 gallons per
Yeah.
truck if we had to? Okay, so that number's a little high. I can do that. But basically, bringing it in-house, there's capitalization, which of course would have to be approved. And to get the truck. Some of our concern, being able to hire the employees, getting the employees, because as Brian puts out, they need a CDL license.
At least,
We talked about the possibility of sharing an employee with Public Works, but that means you gotta find somebody that's available and is qualified to do both and is willing to do both, so that can be iffy. The calculation for the bringing it in did not include insurance on the trucks, because you said that was under town bond.
Yeah,
I can call Nicole. on it.
don't quote me on.
Okay. Well, ask Nicole. Assumes no excise tax because it's municipal, and I think it's. If we just do the one truck, obviously there's a problem with that, and then you just answered the question on transfer station license, so we don't need that. So if we were to bring it in-house. Potentially. A slight ongoing savings over Plummer, but an initial. Capitalization plus the headache of having to find the employees, get the employees, manage the employees. And if it is a full-time employee, I did not put in here that somebody that we share with Public Works, then there's the benefit load that has to come on, and I just put it down on. I just grabbed like a 25% benefit load for FICA and stuff that you have to do on part-time, but if you go in full-time, all of a sudden you're adding insurance and other benefits on it, so you're bringing that load up.
What happens if they call them sick
Yeah. That,
or workman's comp?
absolutely.
Is there?
Not in my department,
Okay.
we don't allow it.
You don't allow people getting hurt?
That's right, ask my staff.
So
Plummer hasn't had issues with workers' comp, has it? And then throwing
It's a
trash
family-
bags all day.
it's a family business though. It's a little different mindset than a government business. So I'll tighten up the figures when we feel a little bit and some of the other considerations that I put down on this one. And get it back out if you get yours.
Yep.
To us. And then the last one is Casella, which. Did exactly what we thought it was gonna do, was price it out, way priced out. You take a look at Casella. I mean, we'd have to put. we'd have to have Casella accept trash again and can the main waste to energy. And they're more expensive on that. Just one of the other problems being, and I had a question into him and he hasn't gotten back to me and, give him his due. We're not a real likely prospect for this, so he's not giving a lot of attention.
Fair.
But all of their stuff, they want financed through the town, which all of a sudden means we don't have a pay as you throw option. Because they don't have tags, they don't have this, they want to, they call them, what do they call them, carts. All of the carts, I mean, it's a 5-year amortization, it's gotta be a 5-year contract. So you add 35 grand a year on it, it amortizes there. Maybe the second contract term would come down a little bit, because you wouldn't have to have all new carts, but then carts wear out. And if the lifetime of the cart is 5 years, then every year that's gotta be added to it.
So it's the bottom line number.
The bottom line number is the total program increase would be 260% increase
So,
over our current program.
so 250 grand? That's
265, yeah, that's.
yeah.
For a 5-year contract, that's $1 million. That's $1 million contract.
Oh, it's more than $1 million contract, yeah.
If you're gonna sign for 5 years.
So,
I'm interested.
yeah. They think at this point, what I'm gonna suggest is that we go back, get the figures there, I'll tighten up the figures on the bringing it in-house. I say what we do, I mean, this is put it together, do another presentation to the select board, have the last slide be, Plummer has decided not to retire. There's a little kind of thing there, but, I mean, we've done the work. We may as well get it out officially that, this is what it is. This is what it would be. Also, it gives them, if they are ever thinking about, we don't want to do curbside, we just want to do throw to a transfer station, it gives them, here's kind of an estimate of what that looks like. So it's all estimate, we give it to them and let them know that's that. And then the second part of our big to-dos is done. We put it in their hands, we give them the information, and our to-dos were replacing Plummer, going out RFP, which we did last year, but replacing Plummer and doing the ordinance.
Did Plummer say anything about why he decided not to and hopes to do it many more years? Got a new pacemaker or something?
We talked and it's nothing that I'm gonna share.
He likes my trash bags.
He knows, you can tell him we're thrilled. We're absolutely thrilled. But anyway, what do you guys think?
If we do present this to the select board, if we feel we need to, it'd be nice just to give them, this is what the tag cost would be for this is what the tag cost.
Good idea.
This is
We could put tags.
very simple.
Yeah, we can put tag costs easily. Although with Casella, there's no tag cost. We could put a number in as comparative.
If you could say, if you could do it per tag.
Yeah, because the carts are bigger than that, so it's not, but yeah, I mean, we can make sure that it's comparative
Yep.
and it's all shown.
Try to keep things simple since it was
Yeah.
complained that the ordinance was too long.
I liked when they came out and said it was too well written. I think the citizens deserve that, and I think that the vast majority of Bowdenham citizens are smart enough to read it, and if they take a little time, understand it.
But
And if they don't, ask us.
and a lot of it was the lawyer talk that the lawyers.
The citizens of Bowdenham are not stupid people. Anyway, so what do you guys think? Is that a good move forward?
Yeah, you boil this down.
Yeah,
Good.
and like I said, I'll do some tweaking in there. I'll put together a presentation. I'll put together it'll be another PowerPoint. Here you go.
Assignment from Brian tomorrow when Plummer comes around. If you see him, just ask him, estimate how many yards do you think he picks up per week?
How many yards?
How many, I know it's, because he'll be able to guess, you do know how,
Yes. No, well,
No, you don't
I know
know
tons, I know tons.
yeah.
You know bags and you know tons.
Yeah,
If he can think, how many yards do you think that is? It'd just be nice to know,
I'll get an actual measurement of his truck and.
so we can figure out, on a dumpster.
You know, but you can gauge your, yeah, because effectively what I did in this, and I'll play something. Is I figured, two major garbage bags, that's 33s and 13s, the small kitchen bag and the big black bags. And I figured 75% of these, 25% of these. And I just, guess, so, but if you could calibrate that guess with. Historical numbers from Plummer, that'd be awesome.
Does he actually get me to fall things?
I bet he doesn't.
Yeah, I bet it gets there, not.
I was going over, Brunswick's operation and I was shocked to see that they do 13-gallon bags
Yep.
and they do 30-gallon bags.
Some of them, when we
At
did,
different prices.
At different prices.
yeah, we found that when we did our survey, and that's something else I'll put together. In this presentation, is just kind of the bottom line, we asked 28 towns, we did the homework, we figured this out, this is how many, this is what we're finding on the model. Anything else on this particular exercise? Our next meeting is scheduled for September 10th. I'm gonna throw something out there. I mean, we send this stuff, I'll put stuff together, we'll have it together for whenever our next meeting really is. I don't know that we really need to meet until after that article comes out in the Bowden News, which is supposed to be October, because we need to be available if people have questions on it. But do we really, what do you guys think about just skipping September? And whatever our first meeting in October is, I don't know, Brian, we've done so much work. You guys, this is the hardest. I don't know how hard the other committees work. But my view is that this is the hardest one.
Are we saying we're doing a public hearing or,
The article in the Bowden News said, if you want more information, you go here, you go here, you go here, you go here, or you can come to any of our meetings, check online. So I would suggest that at least in October, particularly if we're gonna wanna approve whatever we present to the select board on this.
Yep.
That, our first scheduled meeting in October would be October 9th. If you guys think that the thing that we talked about in the future was improving communications. And I agree that would be something good to do, but I'm just not seeing, and I don't have any personal reasons to not meet in September. I'm just seeing, what are we gonna do? This stuff needs to be done, but we can do it in October, and we can have that meeting in October and make sure that it's open for people if they want to come in and talk or join iPad Martha online and ask questions about it.
Yeah, to that end, I think even if we didn't present anything to the select board, we want to wait to December anyway, because there's gonna be a potential changing the guard to a
Yeah.
small degree, so I
Yeah.
think that's just true. All the more reason just to.
Yeah, Deb's not running, who knows yet. But so what do you think? October, did I say right? Yeah, October 9th is the next schedule.
October 9th.
Does that? Brian, what are your thoughts on,
Works for me.
and should anything come up? We look ad hoc and we can reach out and say, hey, this issue came up and we do need a meeting in September and figure out a date if anything comes up. But I'm thinking as we move forward. This committee has done what we've been charged with, and I don't see that we are going to need to have formal meetings that often. We can always ad hoc anyway, and I think we talked about it once, maybe just having a regularly scheduled quarterly meeting just to make sure that we're there, and anything else can ad hoc.
The one consideration you might want to have. I think the other thing that, at least I heard from the select board last night, was that getting the information out there is important. So certainly the newsletter is a
Yeah,
big part of it. We might want to push out in other ways so that leading up to November 5th, people will maybe
Yeah.
see it. See it again,
well, we
see
can
it
have,
again.
we have a couple of meetings in
Push that out.
October, or we could even say. Public information session, I
Yeah.
mean, we could hold one of those. You know, our second meeting in October could be public information.
That'd probably be a great idea. That way we can get
So that'd be the 9th and the 23rd.
more of that out there.
September 10th, will be knee deep in celebrate vote and stuff anyways.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, you guys tell me, I mean, am I like minimizing?
I think on that public hearing comment, or Brian or Paul, I think that's a great idea. That way we can have that conversation,
Yeah,
that some people were looking for.
and we can,
Or
Put it out.
another conversation,
yeah,
rather.
and we can put it on the social media that's there, as well as put it on the website, so maybe the 23rd. And we can finalize that on the 9th. So on the 9th, we'll talk about this stuff and we'll finalize public hearing, and then we'll obviously. By then, I think people will have that newsletter, and maybe someone will just show up anyway.
Yep.
So Brian, you're gonna make sure that the most recent documents are available
Online.
online so that people will have it.
Yep, now that I know this is the one.
Yeah,
Yep. That is threw me off.
yeah.
The meeting before that, they didn't want to do it then.
Well, that's because, and I mean, you're the one that made me think, but it's like, you know, oh, we're gonna approve the transfer station, it's like, you've already approved it. They admitted last night that they thought there was something else in the. Now that they know that, they were a little more mad, so.
Okay.
Anything else?
Nope.
All right, I'm calling this a done deal.
Sure. Second.
All in favor?
Maybe you're not gonna do it for sure.
All right.
Good night, Martha.
Good night, Martha. So yeah, Paul, whenever you can get that
Yeah.
sheet over to me.
Bye.
No, I- Good night.
Thank you.